Hi, everybody. This is Allison from Allykatkreations. How are you? Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you have yet to do so. And if you get anything from my work, a connect, a dot, an epiphany, and mind explosion, a new book to read, a new author to explore, please consider supporting me. All the links are at the bottom. If you are interested in fashion of art, putting things on tables to make you happy, energy clearing, EMF, cute desk items, paintings, and other stuff. I'm inexpensive. Check out my website, AllyKatzkreations211.com. I have yet to update the website because it's not Mercury retrograde, but things are not technically working in the tech stuff that I do. And I'm gonna not mess my website up. So it will come. I got little gem coasters, solid gem coasters. These are really cool. All this fun stuff. I have some really creative ideas that are being shuffled in my head, so stay tuned. We're going to continue what is noble. The last couple of weeks have been a very challenging time for me as I am trying to transmute the negativity that's going and flowing through me. As we are in polarity, we are doing a roller coaster, and we do hit the downs and we go up, and we hit the downs, we go up. And I'm starting to skirt further into the down. And I know that eventually I'm going to rise again, but it's alchemizing my thoughts. It's alchemizing how to practically put into action things that I need to be manifested so that I can survive. I'm back in survival mode. I don't like it. So I'm trying to figure out how to stop it. The work that I do isn't for everybody, and more people are coming to these topics. More people are still stuck in their ego and not understanding how the universe works. I'm seeing that time and time again. The other day, because I'm a moderator in some aspects, I read a lot of chats and people are just spitting out information without going within. And people who are not in the higher awareness to go within to see what aligns with them are just taking the hearsay information and making it be so to manifest. I don't know why we have to war over who, what, where, and when the earth was created. It's a curiosity that will kill many cats only because why does it matter? We're made up of the universe and all the species there within. Certain races did seed our physical vehicles. Certain races are giving us light. Some races are giving us darkness. It's all experience. We still have to function within this 3D realm. And that's where a lot of us on the higher path, being called to take action in our missions. I have a lot of missions, and many of them is seeding people the stronger ideas and working on thyself to understand, why are you allowing others to dictate to you your reality? We can only reference in books like I do on this channel to seed information that might benefit you, and you scrap what does not. I read a Waspy, I read Urantia, and I don't really hard align with the majority of either one of those books, but there are things in there that I'm like, oh yeah, I align with that. I want you to do that for yourself. And a lot of us are not going to align with everything that I might align with, which is great. You're going to align with something, but it's the information that is put out henceforth. I see it all the time that people are throwing out information at you and blindly just going along with the fold without doing the work within to know if it is in alignment with you. And I don't deny other people's alignments. So if people want to express the Anunnaki are the ones coming here and they're saving us, great. Like, that's your paradigm. I'm not giving them my power. We have to understand the agendas and the negativity of all aspects of things, not just, well, they're good too. They're in polarity as well as us. Not any being besides the all itself is perfect. We are trying to reach that perfection. A lot of people are contradicting themselves as well. They all believe in and stem into the things that I say, and at the same time repeating the bullshit, ironic hypocrisy that is spewed out all over the place. Go within, please. I'm struggling right now with myself, and that's only because I'm changing a timeline and I'm going into another major timeline. This is something that now I recognize as a cycle that I do. My soul enacts me to hit rock bottom in order to see the strength that I have to outmaneuver and change the way I do things. Sorry, I don't like to cough on camera, but how I need to move myself forward without failing. I did that already 2 years ago. And now, once again, I'm in a change. I'm in a cycle of change. I'm in a metamorphosis stage, and it's very painful. And it's something that many of us are going through in different ways. It's just purging out the old systems out of us. And it's painful because there is nothing for me to be. I'm like in a, not a stalemate, but in a state of mind of what, okay, I tried this way. Okay, that didn't work. Let me think about what can I do in order to make income so I can survive. Now, this is where the grifter thing in the good and be evil come into play. People put in an enormous, and I see this personally in my life with Jason, an extraordinarily huge amount of time and energy into revealing the truth. Literally everything he prints is colored. He colors it in with highlights, and he memorizes the majority of the things that are there. It's uncanny. He's not a grifter. There are people out there that are regurgitating information from other people, such as Jason, or use him to get more likes, shares, subscribes, and income, where they're not bringing you substance. They're bringing you hearsay opinions, maybe to fluff your idea of what reality is up. That is where your determination is to feed the energy or not. There are people like myself who want to keep everything at free bay. I'm not asking for millions of dollars. I'm just asking to be able to feed myself and keep my lights on, right? And I know there's a couple of other people out there who do extraordinary amounts of work for hours on end that just want to be able to do the same thing. I went to the store earlier, and $50 does not get you that far. It's insane what $50 can buy you at the store. Not much. So thankfully, I I put a lot in my garden. Hopefully, within a month or two, I start producing. But we're at a stage in society where we have to start looking at the positives and the negatives of things, the pros and the cons, and weigh them out. And I think Nietzsche, within this Beyond Good and Evil, does that. It's showing you both sides of a person that all exist within us. The things that we unconsciously say and do, or how our programming is run, is very much a lot of what he has to say. Aligning with him or not, it's worth the expansion with inside yourself and the outer world that we all perceive. I'm saying we, as in the collective who are aligning with this statement, we have to come into an awareness. We have to stop pointing and blaming, shaming other people for how they go about their everyday lives. If they're trying to feed into a system, oh, we're going to expose that person because they're stealing from people. No, they're not. People are willingly giving their energy to them. Well, they're falsely doing it, Allison. Okay, but then they have the discernment within themselves to say, you know what? I see the agenda and I'm going to stop it. Maybe that's a lesson for them to learn, not to just freely give their funds and what they worked hard for away, and maybe put it somewhere else. We got to look at a bigger picture in terms of how people are, your other selves are giving their selves freely away, not putting up boundaries, not realizing, well, that person's bad, this person's good. It doesn't matter because all people have both poles in them. When we can understand those things, you tend to stop caring about that situation. If someone does something evil, there was a purpose for it and a lesson for them to learn. Are you learning anything off of that lesson? If not, then you don't need to pay your mind to it. Be very guarded with your energy. I've learned this throughout my entire life, how I used to just freely give my energy away. I'm overly generous with what I do and what I give out to people without any exchange or much back in return. And I slowly, as I got older, stopped doing that. Because at the end of the day, it costs me more than the other person receiving. We got to have our boundaries up. I know for myself, I might seem like a bitch, but there are people who are non-stop with, oh, can you tell this person this information? Oh, can you share this, and that? Why do I need to be an in-between? Do it yourself. Like I said in my TikToks, go check out, I put all my TikToks on YouTube for the ones that I have up so far. Why are you not answering the questions for yourself? Why are certain things more important to you than yourself? Why do you see outside of yourself that everything matters, where it's really within that projects out your world? we're all challenged and we're all going through these cycles. And right now, for me, I'm at a cycle point of where do you break the cycle so you can go up that spiral again, but not repeat the old. So I'm at that point, and many of you are too. We're dealing with a lot of people in our surroundings who might be, I hate to say energy vampires, but people that need attention and don't know where to seek it within themselves. I've mentioned to a lot of people, when I get back to you, I will get back to you. I have a lot going on up here that I'm wrestling with, and I don't like to be a jerk in my responses to people. I got a lot going on my plate, and I know a lot of other people do too. So we need to have compassion. It's not that you're being ignored. Go within. This next section, and sorry, I'm like channeling at the same time as getting downloads. Try not to cough. But I think what I needed to have to get out was from upstairs. Because I am a nice person and I do appreciate so many people that help me. Just some people need to chill, calm down a little bit. Because it's stressful when you get nothing but messages all day long and you're trying to just relax and meditate and be one with yourself, and you get interrupted all the time. Just being honest. And it's not one person, it's a plethora of people. It's a lot. And every day I sit down and do meditation because I'm putting my energy of healing out to others. There are a lot of people that I know and I never met, but I know who need healing. And that takes me time to sit and focus on each individual person that I personally know needs healing. And I tap in and go. Can't do that. And that's me giving my energy out to the people I know who really could use it. Free, good people. That I need time for that. So don't think it's one person. And I love all of you. Just give me some grace right now, as I have a lot to figure out. So we're picking up on this book. Sorry for that rant, needed to happen. Nietzsche. There is an instinct for rank, which more than anything else is a sign of high rank. There is a delight in the nuances of reverence that allows us to infer noble origin in her habits. The refinement, graciousness, and height of a soul is tested dangerously when something of the first rank passes by without being as yet protected by the shutters of authority against obtrusive efforts and ineptitudes, something that goes its way unmarked, undiscovered, tempting perhaps, capriciously concealed and disguised, like a living touchstone. Anyone to whose task and practice it belongs to search out souls will employ this very art in many forms in order to determine the ultimate value of a soul and the unalterable innate order of rank to which it belongs. He will test it for its instincts of reverence. This happens every day. The baseness of some people suddenly spurts up like dirty water. When some holy vessel, some precious thing from a locked shrine, some book with the marks of a great destiny is carried past, And on the other hand, there is a reflex of silence, a hesitation of the eye, a cessation of old gestures that express how a soul feels, the proximity of the most vulnerable. The way in which reverence for the Bible has, on the whole, been maintained as far in Europe is perhaps the best bit of discipline and refinement of manners that Europe owes to Christianity. Such books of profundity and ultimate significance require some external tyranny of authority for their protection in order to gain those millennia of persistence which are necessary to exhaust them and figure them out. Much like the mob. Much is gained once the feeling has finally been cultivated in the masses, among the shallow and in the high-speed intestines of every kind, that they are not to touch everything, that they are holy experiences before which they have to take off their shoes and keep away their unclean hands. This is almost their greatest advance toward humanity. Conversely, perhaps there is nothing about so-called educated people and believers in modern ideas that is as nauseous as their lack of modesty and the comfortable insolace of their eyes and hands with which they touch, lick, and finger everything. And it is possible that even among the common people, among the less educated, especially among peasants, one finds today more relative nobility of taste and tactful reverence than among the newspaper reading demi-mode of the spirit, the educated. We're seeing this today in society. We're still placing each other in caste systems, the very poor, the impoverished, the middle class, the upper class, the millionaires, the billionaires, and everybody in between all those things. And then there's the judgment of, oh my God, the chemtrails, everything is poison. So what does a person in poverty do that can only go to the store and find the poison to eat? I was in this situation personally myself. Do I have a choice? Oh, you can get food. Yeah, at the food bank, I had food poisoning twice. This is in New York. I haven't gone that route here yet. But why are you claiming everything is poisoned? If everything is a part of God's paradigm, why are you speaking that into existence for it to exist that way? Why are you giving it the frequency and vibratory states that everything is going to be out to get you and kill you? You're making it so by doing and saying those things. Yeah, they're probably putting some not good stuff in the air, and they've been doing that forever. But when are you going to overcome projecting it out and feeding their energy for it to manifest? Some people have no choices, and they're probably the most spiritual, grounded people are the ones with much of nothing. People that lack are usually the ones that give the most. They don't want anybody in their situation, so they're willing to help others out of that situation. We're the people who are comfortably numb in their schedules, in their lives, can't see anything past it, aren't doing even though they have the means to do so, they're not doing much to help others. They're only an aggrandizement to their own selves. It's interesting because I've been on both sides of that coin, and I know that I try my best to help regardless of my circumstances. Amish mindset. But when we criticize others for what they lack or what they gain, why is it your business? The lesson is when someone is trying to take one-off overview is to learn what not to do in order to give your energy away. In order to understand before you do something is to tap into your intuition and know it, to feel it to be the truth and not your ego speaking it. Just because you like somebody, just because you are obsessive over people, does not necessarily mean that they have your best interests at heart. But did you go in and know, without your ego in the way, with unbiased, objective understandings and seeings? This is what the movement is trying to teach us. It's all about lessons. What are you learning from others? What are you gaining? And if that isn't something that's happening, then you really need to rethink who and what it is that you are focusing your energy on. I still see so many people stuck like glue, super glue, to concepts and things that when you are challenged, you're like the Mr. Smiths in the world, in the Matrix, that you are just going to repel it back at me like, no, 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 no. Instead of saying, well, hang on. Let me do some inner work and let me ask myself before I give you that. No, no, no. I've had to learn how to do it. Not an easy task. But I allow other people to give it to me, and then I go within and I investigate for myself what aligns. And we need to do the same thing with everything. Much is gained once the feeling has finally been cultivated in the masses. That is something that many of us in the spiritual community are trying to do, is put out the information to help more people on their path understand a bigger picture, and not to say that your picture that you were following was wrong. That's what led you up to this point. Now it's expansion in a different way, on a different level. Now it's up to you to take the wheel and to do the work within. But more people have to be able to do this in order for us to all together now, love that song, get the main objective manifested out in the outside world. When more of us collectively have that key that we unlock to the next level, and we open it up, if anybody plays World of Warcraft, you're in a 40-man raid and everybody has a job. Everybody counts. There's not one person that can be a lack in terms of giving their best. And in that scenario, all of you the main objective is to take down the boss or the villain, whatever. And you all have to dodge and duck and do things and heal others. And there is so much to be going on in a raid. Everybody has a job. The objective at the end is when that boss goes down, everybody gets a reward. And then you unlock something new, a new room unlocks, or you get a prize. Okay, but our prize in this moment of now is when we all work together in unity, we unlock the next phase of the cycle that is started. We're unlocking fourth density. Ra talks about the sub-octave, sub-octave, the octave, and then it progresses up. There's levels to things. It's just, we're in fifth. No, many of us are not going to see fifth. in these vehicles. We're getting glimpses. We're feeling things. We're not there yet. Fifth is non-material. And that's my paradigm to believe, and it might not be yours, but I'm seeing a lot of falsities on that stuff too. You going within. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm really not. I'm just trying to bring rational logic to an abstract idea. There is something to look forward to. This beautiful world is going to manifest something great, but we need to do it collectively together. Humanity needs to come together. We're nowhere near that aspect just yet. Tom McDonald just did a very perfect song about that. One side is perceiving one thing and the other side is bad, and that other side is perceiving one thing and they think the other side's wrong and bad. It's all part of God. What's the lesson? Where's the lesson? One cannot erase from the soul of a human being what his ancestors like most to do and most consistently, whether they were, for example, studious savers and of a desk and cash box, modest and bourgeoisie in their desires, modest in all their virtues, or whether they lived accustomed to commanding from dawn to dusk, fond of rough amusements, and also perhaps of even rougher duties and responsibilities, or whether finally at some point they sacrifice ancient prerogatives of birth and possessions in order to live entirely for their faith, their God, as men of an inexorable and delicate conscience, which blushes at every compromise. It is simply not possible that a human being should not have the qualities and preferences of his parents and ancestors in his body, whatever appearances may suggest to the contrary. This is the problem of race. If one knows something about the parents, an inference about the child is permissible. Any disgustingly inconsistence, any nook, envy, a clumsy insistence that one is always right, these three things together have always constituted the characteristic type of the plebeian. The sort of thing must as surely be transferred to the child as corrupted blood. And with the aid of the best education, one will be at best deceived with the regard to such a heredity. And what else is the aim of education and culture today? In our very popularity-minded, that is plebeian age, education and culture has to be essentially the art of deceiving about one's origin, the inherent plebes in one's body and soul. An educator who today preached truthfulness above all and constantly challenged his students, be true, be natural, do not pretend, even such a virtuous and guileless ass will learn after a while to reach for the fruca of Horace to nactium explorare. With what success? I am not what my parents brought me up to be, and it's not what my parents that birthed me brought me up to be. I am my own individual with a contract with Source, and they gave me the tools in order to succeed. Lacking in some places and not. It doesn't necessarily matter. I have control over my life to a certain extent with the outside world dictating certain things and cultural stuff. When we limit our minds, because my parents were poor and I came from a trailer park, we need to stop projecting that as negative and look at it as the opportunity to overcome your obstacles in life. You hear it with the culture of rap, where a lot of rappers were brought up in Section 8 housing. They were with gangs, they did drugs, you know, the things that they're rapping about. But they are showing you that you too can get out of that lifestyle if you choose to. What are you doing to uplift yourself out of that story? That's something that you missioned yourself to overcome. What are you doing to overcome it? What steps are you putting in to overcome it? And like many of us, there's stalemates. There's times when things that we work really hard on just are not working for our best. How do you go and navigate around that? And that's where a lot of society fails, because there's not enough genuine people who are doing good work to aid others without looking for something in return, who will put somebody on the path just because. Like I said, when I was at the library fair and people were doing some fantastic artwork, and I gave them little tools and suggestions to enhance what they're doing. It's up to them to take what I gave them and try it. They might not like it, it might not work for them, but at least make a difference and try something different. Using the same stuff, but just try a different method. We all got to start doing these things. I seed people free thoughts and ideas and ways you can enhance yourself. What are you doing? How are you helping? It's about Amish mindset. Abundance is defined in so many ways. We automatically as humans go to money because that's the program that we've all been structured in. And yeah, we need it to feed ourselves, to pay the bills, to live our everyday lives. Totally get it, but abundance comes in so many forms. I love when I receive abundance in many different forms. It's what keeps me going and what motivates me each and every day to do a video or to put something out there that will help others freely. We all have a role. It's up to you to decide which one you're playing at this moment in time. At the risk of displeasing innocent ears, I promise, egoism belongs to the nature of a noble soul. I mean that unshakable faith that to a being such as we are, other beings must be subordinate by nature and have to sacrifice themselves. This noble soul accepts this fact of its egoism without any question mark, also without any feeling that it might contain hardness, constraint, or caprice, rather as something that may be founded in the primordial law of things. If it sought a name for this fact, it would say it is justice itself. Perhaps it admits under certain circumstances that at first make it hesitate that there are some who have rights equal to its own. As soon as this matter of rank is settled, it moves among these equals with their equal privileges, showing the same sureness of modesty and delicate reverence that characterize its relations with itself in accordance with its innate heavenly mechanism understood by all stars. It's merely another aspect of its egoism, this refinement and self-limitation in its relations with its equals. Every star is just an egoist. It honors itself in them and in the rights it cedes to them. It does not doubt that the exchange of honors and right is of the nature of all social relations and thus also belongs to the natural condition of things. The noble soul gives as it takes from the passionate and irrefutable instinct of repayment that lies in its depths. The concept grace has no meaning or good odor. There may be a sublime way of letting presents from above happen to one, as it were, and to drink them up thirstily like drops. But for this art and gesture, the noble soul has no aptitude. Its egoism hinders it. Quite generally, it does not like to look up, but either ahead horizontally and slowly, or down It knows itself to be at a height. Truly high respect one can have only for those who do not seek themselves. Goethe. What in the end is common? Words are acoustical signs for concepts, however, are more or less definite image signs for often reoccurring and associated sensations for groups of sensations. To understand one another, it is not enough that one use the same words. One also has to use the same words for the same species of inner experiences. In the end, one has to have one's experience in common. Therefore, the human beings of one people understand one another better than those belonging to different peoples, even if they employ the same language, or rather when human beings have long lived together under similar conditions of climate, soil, danger, needs, and work. What results from this is that people who understand one another, a people in all souls, an equal number of often reoccurring experiences has come to be predominant over experiences that come more rarely. On the basis of the former, one understands the other quickly and more quickly. The history of language is the history of process of abbreviation, and on the basis of such quick understanding, one associates even more closely. The greater the danger is, the greater is the need to reach agreement quickly and easily about what must be done, not misunderstanding one another in times of danger and what human beings simply cannot do without in their relations. In every friendship or love affair, one still makes this test. Nothing of the sort can endure once one discovers that one's partner associates different feelings, intentions, nuances, desires, and fears with the same words. Fear of the eternal misunderstanding, that is the benevolent genius which so often keeps person of different sex from rash attachments to which their senses and hearts prompt them, this and not some Schlappenharian genius of the species. Schlappenhauer. I didn't know he had an Aryan in there. Which group of sensations is aroused, express itself and issues, commands, and a soul must quickly, is decisive for the whole order of rank of its values and ultimately determines its tables of goods. The values of a human being portrayed something of the structure of his soul, where it finds its conditions of life is true need. Assuming next that need has ever brought close to one another only such human beings as could suggest with similar signs, similar requirements and experiences, it would follow on the whole that easily communicable of need, which in the last analysis means the experience of merely average and common experiences, must have been the most powerful of all powers, at whose disposal man has been so far. The human beings who are more similar, more ordinary, have had and always have an advantage. Those more select, subtle, strange, and difficult to understand easily remain alone, succumb to accidents, being isolated, and rarely propagate. One must invoke tremendous counter forces in order to cross this natural, all too natural progress in simile, the continual development of man toward the similar, ordinary, average, herd-like, common. I'm going to end it there. What do we see in societies today? Everybody is by their race, language, skin tone out there in their communities, living in such. The poor live amongst the poor, the middle class live amongst the middle class. Like, there are different avenues of me going up 15 blocks, which are long ones, and hitting extreme poverty, and then coming down 15 blocks to see people thriving, Why the F is that? Some cultures and some people brought up with stereotypes that we all point fingers and, oh my God, these people, those people, that people, that. Why are we doing that? We're human. We're human. The content of your character is what is solely after when everybody puts out Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream. Yet, the very people who preach those words are the ones that are not carrying out what was meant by those words. If people only listened and not got preached to what those words meant, and they went inside and understood that their enemy is their own selves, get out of your way. Stop allowing what the society dictates to you is what is evil. Evil. Why are you allowing that? The world would be a better place if we stopped pointing fingers and claiming all these people are evil and actually understood each individual is their own individual spark of source, that we gotta stop herding everybody into a cage because, hey, I'm misrepresented all the damn time. I might be this, I might have this, I might have green eyes, I might be different, but I'm my own individual person. I don't speak for my lineage, my ancestry, any of it. I am me, and I'm going to walk that truth. Are you walking the truth of your soul, or are you walking some stereotype because the society dictated to you that's what you need to look like, that's what you need to talk like, that's, you know, your circumstance, own it. Yeah, own your circumstance, but rise above it. You make your definition of reality. You. And it gets confusing because there's a lot of layers to that. I want to be successful. I am going to be successful. I am courageous. I'm going to walk in the obstacles that are put upon my path and learn from them so I gain experience and wisdom to help others. We all put these definitions out that strangle us. And not necessarily us who are elevated in awareness, but the common, I hate to put a label to it, the people that are just walking around doing their 9 to 5 and living life. They're not expanding their consciousness enough in their present now breath. They're doing it subconsciously, unconsciously. And how do we bring in a new way of living, a new way of having a new society, a new unity consciousness, when most of the people walking around are unconscious of it? We're the lighthouses for a reason. We're here to unify all, not just who you choose. Because you hate certain people, you want them in the wood chippers because they're evil people. Well, yeah, they're still expressions of source. What lessons are you learning from them? And how not to move forward? Those are lessons too. They're coming with, whether you like it or not. So you can fire up your wood chippers all day long. What good is that going to do? Because we're stereotyping an entire breed of people. It's better to understand individuals and not place an egoistic sensibility to an entire generation of people, because not all of them dictate those social norms that we all peg them at. Like I said, in other places, I was raised in a different religion than what I was born from, and I didn't get raised in religion. The two people that people want dead, their culture, their religion, their whatever, because other people represented of that culture and race do horrible things, you can't say all people, because not all people do those things. All people have free will choice. All people have God expressing through them differently to have its experience, to know itself better. So that's all of us. It's all perception. When we knock down the stereotypes and what people are dictated to be, will the world be a better place? And as humans, we need labels and things to have an understanding. But we're at that point. Why do we need them anymore? The things that we once were learning from and the understandings of how mechanics work here on the physical plane are slowly, they're melting away. They're going away. We don't need them anymore. Because enough of us already had our advancement in understanding that all is one. So we can stop shame, blame, and discriminating against other people's, your other selves. We have to look beyond the good and evil in all things. We need to come to neutrality. We need to see both sides, not just the side that you favor. There are good and pro and cons in everything here in this existence. And once we can see both sides, once we stop handing our power away and do the inner work, to do the inside work, you can only better yourself that way. I'm going to end it here, guys. Sending each and every one of you love, light, compassion, grace, shielding your protective energy. Please go within. Be the lighthouse for others to find, to share your wisdom, your experiences, your love, and your light. Be the shoulder for somebody who's having a rough time. We're even in the spiritual community, even many of us, like I am right now, I'm going through difficult times. I am trying to figure out where I'm blocked, how to transmute that energy. I'm going to my tree every day. I'm grounding. I'm doing a lot of self-care right now to figure out why I'm back in this situation again. Where did I not learn the lesson? Or if I learned the lesson, like what is now being presented to me? And that's the only thing I can answer for myself. But it's finding that answer that I'm striving to do. And each of us have different situations that we're all in, that we can be shoulders for others. You've walked that wisdom. Now pass it on. You can't walk it with somebody else. You can help them through a situation. You can give some guidance. It's up to them to take it or not. But that's your energy that you're passing on in your wisdom. We'd be a better society today if more people would do that. So, guys, sending healing energy to all that I send it to. And I hope everybody has a blessed and beautiful, fantastic day. It is almost 94 degrees outside. It's hot. And I hope everybody had a beautiful, wonderful Father's Day if you are somebody that celebrates such things. And until the next time, guys, thank you for your support. Many blessings to all, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.